into, total darkness. Now, this and more we'll be looking at today's episode of the program. Thanks for joining us. I am Ikaria Clinton. Welcome to Nigeria Today. Now, joining me in the studio to discuss the issue, the new minimum wage negotiation, is Dr. Akongbe Oluwabamidele Moses. He's a research fellow, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Abuja. He's also the chair, Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions, IPCR branch. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. Also
with us in the studio is Rachel Wese Tiona.
She's the Executive Director on Godo Development Initiative and the immediate past Speaker, Benue State Youth Parliament. It's a pleasure having you.
Oh, I'm glad to be here today.
So I'll start with you, Rachel. Tell us the whole situation, the whole negotiations going on between the organized labor and the federal government, the strike, and the relaxing of the strike. Tell us, what do you make of the whole scenario?
Well, it was a very dreadful day for Nigerians yesterday. For myself, it was terrible when we woke up and we couldn't find power. And I heard there were cancelled flights at the airport and a whole lot of things, and this thing crumbled the economic activities of the country. And as at yesterday, I felt like, okay, if we can be at this place at this time, then the organized labor should make sure they get what they need to get out. Nigerians can suffer these issues without getting results for what they have been fighting for. And we're glad that today this industrial action has been relaxed, even though they have stated clearly that after 1 week, if their issues are not attended to, then the strike will resume. But in as much, I think they've taken a step forward, and the federal government, they're looking into this critically, and then we're hoping that before the end of the 1 week ultimatum given by the organized labor, would have a more substantial resolutions that Nigerian workers will be happy with and Nigerians will be happy with in general.
Yeah. Now to you, the comrade in the house, the whole situation of the negotiations and of course the strike, the declaring of the strike, and tell us, what do you make, or will I say, how far so far?
Yes, thank you again for having me. The truth of the matter is that, you see, as we said even here yesterday, we don't want to go on strike. Strike is the last option. But again, the truth of the matter is that the government side were not actually coming forth to the table with proper and much more reasonable offer for the Nigerian workers. Yes, the strike has been suspended and relaxed for the next 5 days so that all angles, the tripartite committee can come on board, sit down and negotiate and renegotiate, so that at the end of the day, this scenario, we can put it behind us and move forward. Definitely, the whole country cannot be held down. That's just the truth of the matter, but we just need to move. And moving forward, let us have, as we have discussed also yesterday, even if we cannot have a living wage, let us have, if we cannot have a living wage, if we cannot have a manageable wage, let us have an agreeable wage. What the least staff can take out of his workplace, even if he cannot take it home, but at least take it out of his workplace.
So back to you, Rachel. Yes. Now, looking at the whole situation, of the strike, the suspension, and everything, what would you say are the key takeaways from this situation?
For one, I would say, I think for the first time in a long time, the organized labor have actually been serious, and Nigerians have seen seriousness in what they've been doing, because most of the times when they say there's industrial action, over the night we just hear, oh, it's relaxed. But this drives home, and I think it gives all Nigerians the sense of of belonging that look, they're actually looking out for our good. And I think even the federal government are being held ransom now because the whole state, the whole country economy was down as of yesterday, so it affected a lot of activities within the country. And I feel this was a step in the right direction, in as much as Nigerians are affected in one way or the other. But I think it's a step in the right direction. And moving forward, the organized labor, as they've said in their claims of 1 week, we're looking forward that in that 1 week they'll be able to stand by their words, and even the federal government be able to come in terms with the issues raised. And as the comrade just said, even though they agree to the particular minimum wage the organized labor is talking about, but then agreeable minimum wage that a Nigerian worker will be happy to take home to his family at the end of the day.
Okay, now, Mr. Bamidele, the other time we spoke, I know it was via Zoom. We were talking about, you know, of course, the national minimum wage. Labour has said 494,000, which you said is unreasonable. Even you agreed with me that it's unreasonable, because if the federal government is to pay that, we're talking about over 9 trillion naira. Now the federal government has said, okay, we are willing to do more than 60. So in your opinion, you know, what do you think would be, you know, reasonable?
Let me start by saying the 494 is a living wage. You understand? Of course, everybody will want to get that kind of money home and resolve a whole lot of things. Fine. If we can't have a living wage, if we can't have a manageable wage, we should have something reasonable. And the reasonable wage could be between 150 and 200. That is just the truth of the matter, because, for example, we're discussing things are expensive. There's a whole lot of poverty in the land. People are hungry. People cannot afford basic things, basic food. We were given a scenario yesterday and we said about tomatoes. A kilo of meat is 6,000. You count pepper now, 6 pieces of pepper is like 300 naira for those of us that go to market to buy things. You understand? Definitely, we were talking about an agreeable amount. 150, 200 is agreeable. It's reasonable. The government might be saying, yes, it's huge. They might be saying, you mean I'm going to be paying my cook 200,000? I'm going to be paying my gate man 150,000.
Now, still on you, Mr. Bamidele. Some concern, Dr. Bamidele. Okay. Now, some concern Nigerians. Like we had some, you know, persons on the program, and they were concerned of as much as, you know, they want to understand the plight of the organized labor. Of course, we do understand all of that, but they said they went further to emphasize the need to go beyond just asking, you know, for the minimum wage increment, but that they asked that the government should work towards that the organized labor should ask that the government should, you know, work towards reducing the cost of transportation, making sure there's industries and all of that. Because if you are saying, okay, monies should be increased, things are still expensive, right? No. So now, do you buy into this thought?
Definitely. You know, when we're talking about the immediate effect, the short-term effect and the long-term effect. The immediate responsibility of government is to take care of workers now. What do we want? We want X, Y, Z. Now, the medium term is that, yes, can a farmer go to farm? Yes, of course, the federal government is actually working. They are actually tackling bandits. There's no doubt about that. They were tackling insecurity. But again, what is the cost of fertilizer? Can you give the farmer 75% subsidy of fertilizer so that they can actually go and farm very well? That's an immediate. Can you encourage the youth to go back to farm? If an average youth want to go back to farm, not to go and give them cutlass and hoe, but look at them that, yes, as you are going to farm, you'll be earning as much as somebody in CBN is earning. You'll be earning as somebody that's NNPC is earning. Those are things that will encourage a whole lot of people to go back to farm, because we cannot just be saying, as you said earlier on, yes, not just about giving workers salary. What are the other things? These are some of the things that is necessary for us to make it an holistic. Let us have people back to farm, reduce the cost of fertilizer, you know, encourage more youth to go back to farm. With that, a whole lot of things will be done. And again, you see, there is this national minimum wage bill that needs to be passed to law, so that we will not be coming here every 3 years, every year to be engaging and discussing about minimum wage. If that can be passed, it is important for us to understand that, yes, when that is passed, we know that at the end of every 3 years, a certain percentage of amount to be put on every workers. So we don't need to come back here and be engaging federal government on it. So those are some of the things that need to be done and move ahead. Then again, we are paying a whole lot of money on electricity now. It's huge. It is killing. You know, the federal government have made they've categorized the band and the bandits and the band. You know, but I think that needs to be removed now, so that we can actually move ahead. Because, for example, someone that is being paid, let's say 30,000 naira, and is paying like 10,000 naira on electricity per month, how can the person cope? It's not possible.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bamidele. We'll take a short break here and listen to the a cross section of Nigerians on these on the issue of discourse. Don't go away.
Though they have gone back to the negotiating table, but we are hopeful that something good will come out from it, because we are considering those in the hospital, we are considering those who are in the private sector. The works have been crippled for some days now, so it's a good one to start with.
Ensuring that the rules of engagements adequately applied on both sides of government and organized labor in terms of the continued negotiation.
And of course, and a lady here in the studio. Now, you had the reaction of the people there. What do you have to say to some of the things, issues there?
Okay, so when you talk of minimum wage, just the way our comrade was saying earlier, we should look at a long-term solution to these problems. Now, if you look at the economy of Nigeria today, if you look at the housing, look at the increment of things in the market, as you just rightly said. Even if if someone is paid 120,000 naira, most of these other things will skyrocket. Even as it is right now, you see rents and they are all going up the hill. So what are the measures that are going to be put it out that when people are paid this amount of money, they can still be able to afford these basic needs? Now, one thing in Nigeria I know is we don't have regulatory bodies for such things. The market, people just wake up and sell things as they deem fit.
No, we do.
we do, but it's not functional. It's not functional to a common Nigerian on the road. He doesn't know that because he goes to the market every day and everything. There's nobody regulating the prices of these things. Prices of rent, people just wake up, build a house and, give up obnoxious amounts and all of this. So how are we sure that after paying this minimum wage, workers can still comfortably afford their basic needs? So I also think the organized labor can go a step further to put in one of their demands that the federal government should be able to look at these things and have a regulatory bodies to all of the basic amenities that workers will need around. And I think it would, when we do that, at least if we're giving them 100,000 and 120,000 a month, they will still appreciate it. But if that is not done, all that is still going to go on that, and then nobody feels like I'm not doing anything yet. Because how much is the bag of rice in the market now? Almost 80,000 naira. You're giving somebody 120,000.
For example, the national minimum can be passed. We would not need to be coming here day in, day out. We would not to be coming here yearly to be engaging, to be discussing, about minimum wage. If that can be done, all what state and government need to do is to that, yes, at the end of every 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years, this certain percentage of XYZ is going to be added to your salary. This certain percentage of XYZ is going to be added to your salary, either basic or otherwise. So if that can be done, and I'm sure labor doesn't even like going to, it's the last bus stop. Yeah. It's the last bus stop, it's the last resort. It's the last thing. It is when labor is being pushed to the wall. That is when we declare industrial action. That's when we declare strike. Is actually proactive in making things work. Now government is proactive because they've been pushed to the wall. Everywhere is shut down. This kind of strike happened last during the military era. You understand? So when everywhere is shut down, government doesn't have choice to come. I said it yesterday. That's what we need to do, is for everybody to come back to the round table. Let us discuss. Let us judge an untoward war. Let us engage. From there, everybody will be able to put on the ground. If government says, yes, we have now, they can pay head assistance standing on. You know, so what we need to do is that, yeah, let us put in, yes, basic law, and those basic law, if those basic law can be passed by the National Assembly, I'm sure we'll go from this kind of strike year in, year out.
Now, let's talk about the resolutions.
Yes.
I know there were some resolutions reached. Now, do you think the resolutions reached will pave way for a quick agreement, you know, between both parties?
Definitely, definitely. You see, 1 week is a long time to engage, to discuss. You know, it's not the kind of meeting that we have 1 hour meeting, 2 hour meeting. Some of the time we have 12, 13, 14 hours stress meeting where a whole lot of engagement will come on board, where people will discuss. We'll bring out the statisticians, we'll bring out the mathematicians. They will calculate the figures and put on the table for everybody to look. Can the private sector pay this? Can government pay this? Someone asked a question yesterday that can states pay this? Yeah. Some states are already paying 70,000 naira, right? So if some states are already paying 70,000 naira, so what makes us say the federal government cannot pay far higher than what they are proposing? So it is important. 1 week is a lot of time for us to engage and resolve all what has been put on ground. That
we have 5 days now to go.
We have 5 days, yes. It is, sincerely speaking, and I'm sure government is sincere. I said it yesterday. President Tinubu is a very good person. That's just the truth. He is proactive. The truth of the matter is that probably maybe he's not getting the direct feedback that is necessary.
Because the government has said they are committed to paying above 60,000. And the tripartite committee, of course, they will be meeting to ensure that this is resolved.
Definitely.
Now, back to you, Rachel.
Yes,
now, like I asked him earlier, I said, what measures can be put in place, you know, to ensure that we don't have these kinds of, you know, situation in the future? Definitely, nobody likes strike. No, just like you said, there was a lot of, you know,
there was a lot of issues yesterday. So, as rightly said about the bill, bill is one way to go, about ensuring that we don't have this every 5 years as it comes and goes. We have, you know, a more substantial government, you know, substantial processes to these things. And moving forward, as earlier, when we were talking about these regulatory bodies to these basic things that a common Nigerian needs, I think this will go a long way of trying to curb unnecessary increments, you know, in basic amenities, and we don't need to be always going back and forth with the salaries. Okay, this is what it is, and this is what is obtainable in the market, and stuff like this. But the best way to go about this thing, so that any government coming in, it's already law, so we just follow what is there, or we improve on what is there. And I think that's the best way to go, honestly.
Now, Dr. Babidele, your parting words for this issue.
We want the governments to be committed to this 1 week suspension of strike. We want the organized private sector to be committed to this 1 week suspension of strike, so that we will not come back at the end of the 5th day, on the 6th day, and say there is another industrial action. We want an holistic approach to this, so that every one of us will go back fully to our work and engage positively. As I said yesterday, and of course today, President Tinubu is a very good man that listens a lot. So we will encourage him to engage if it is possible. A special advisor on strategic.
Even if this minimum wage is implemented, they shouldn't just go back to sit down. As on some of the issues I raised, and when you look at the government, have actually been doing much to be able to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy, but those are short terms. So I think the organized labor can also keep having conversations with the government even after the minimum wage is implemented, that some of these issues be long-term, be sustainable, and see how moving forward we don't need to be doing a short-term program for some of those things. And please, the organizers, but we don't want to go through what we went through yesterday. We don't want to go through it again. So I'm hoping that by the end of 5 days we have something good. The Nigerians have good news. Good news. Yes,
we are really hoping for
finally,
that.
Finally.
We are hoping for that.
The wage award has been suspended for a long time.
The wage award, I think the government is looking into that. This administration is committed to ensuring ensuring that our workers smile.
We really want to see the workers smile.
Definitely.
We really want to see
That's with that, we wrap up today's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to our guests. We had Rachel West Tiona. She's Executive Director on Godo Development Initiative and immediate past Speaker, Benue State Youth Parliament. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And we also had Dr. Akangbe Oluwabamidele Moses, a Research Fellow, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Abuja. Also the Chair, Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions, IPCR branch. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News24. You can check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am Eukaria Clinton. Goodbye.